Hey, Maria, back with another video. It's, let me see what time it is. 8:30 exactly. All right, on Tuesday night, November 28th. And I got out of the shower a while ago, and just kind of pedaling around the house, bored as hell, But I was thinking about, the problems of outside opinions and comments and concerns that people express, whether that be family, friends, whatever. And they take it into the workplace. And I get the feeling that, when they were determining, what job they were going to place me in the next time or whatever, I don't know. But that they were bringing up issues that had nothing to do with work. Like, for example, the lie that I told my husband many years ago. These things aren't relevant. And when you think about the people who are taking the instructions when it comes to job placement, it should have clicked in their mind, like, wait a second, that has nothing to do with their job. Now, when you fill out an application, it usually says something like, have you ever been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor or something like that? That's not a felony. It's not even a misdemeanor. You know what I mean? It's these things that, employers are taking into consideration, and they really shouldn't. I mean, it's frivolous bullshit. What else do they take in consideration? Oh, yeah, my marital status, me getting in the process of divorce or whatever. That has nothing to do with employment at all, okay? Your marital status has nothing to do with it. And I've said all this stuff before, but, that's the problem with people who really aren't, and I don't want to cut people down, okay, because I've did my rants enough in the past about, some of the incompetent people that I dealt with, okay? But it just goes to show you my point about how, what people are people really fit for the positions that they're in, It's understandable that maybe a family member or someone off the street or an old, I don't know, Facebook friend or whatever may think that these things are relevant. But when it comes to the people in the employment sector, it's like there's like complete disconnect. Like they don't get it, And that's what bothers me. I mean, and it's what's affecting so many people. I do indeed know people who've had felonies, who've gone to jail and so on and so forth, who picked up their life and they're working what I consider to be respectable jobs. So obviously, you're bringing in issues relating to race, you're bringing in issues, religion, all these other issues. That should have been like, from the minute that came out of somebody's mouth, they should have said, well, we can't discriminate against that, especially certain companies that, claim to be equal opportunity employers. So, I think what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to get people to talk to the people. Like, for example, if you're a family member and you're trying to help somebody find a job or whatever, this should be done face-to-face, okay? And basically what matters is their experience and what they can do, okay? Everything else is completely irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the job. It has nothing to do. Anything that doesn't relate to the job specifically is going to fall into the category of discrimination, period, okay? And so obviously what I'm dealing with is a massive form of discrimination. You're talking about my race. You're talking about my my aversion to what I consider to be a cult, okay? I have nothing against Christianity, but I do have some things against cults. You're talking about my hair, okay? I'm an African American. These things are borderline. They're straight out discrimination, okay? And for some people who may not think about it, and I do forgive some of the innocent people who, might have thought, okay, well, maybe that's relevant. It's not relevant, okay? And so these little issues, when the minute it hits to the employment sector, which it shouldn't, okay? Because I'm trying to encourage people to stop this. Let's go behind the scenes and arrange people jobs type stuff. Because what happens in the background is that, for example, like in my family situation, they would set me up with a job, and if they had some sort of bad day, then they would want somebody to say something stupid to try to piss me off, okay? A lot of times these jobs are set up because it is a domestic stalking issue, and it's a form of abuse. Okay. Anytime the candidate is not aware of who is placing that person in the job, and it's some sort of top secret type thing, it can become a problem. Okay, for that very reason, because you need to be aware of certain domestic abusive type situations, and that's a telltale sign. Okay, if you're hiring somebody and that person doesn't know that that family member arranged that job or whatever, you need to start looking from this point on. Hey, that could be a setup of some sort of abuse. Why are they trying to dictate this person's every move and every step? And why isn't this person, this candidate, allowed to know that this person arranged the job? That a light should go off from this point on, okay? Some people just don't think about those sort of things, but there is certain things relating to domestic stalking, and this is one of them, okay? My family has been doing this to me for years, okay? I'm looking back, and since all this happened, I've been looking back a lot, and I'm thinking, okay, ever since I was a young kid, this shit's been going on. From my very first job, from the school days, from my first job, through all of it, and some people have been saying this on YouTube, that they've been going through this whole issue themselves, and this is what it is, and so that I'm trying to let employers know that there are laws relating to domestic stalking, okay, and people need to be aware of it, okay. And then also issues that don't have anything to do with employment, such as, somebody's race, religion, or whatever, should never be taken into consideration when it comes to employment. It doesn't have anything to do with it. I mentioned earlier, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, where you stay home, every single minute of the day becomes merges into one big thing. I don't know Friday from Tuesday and Wednesday from Saturday. I mean, it just becomes so predictable, so boring, and one big blur, okay? But, I need to go back to work. But, what I was talking about earlier, I think in my last video, or one of my videos, the issue relating to my hair issue, first of all, I don't need to justify that to anybody, okay? And really, when I have tried to, it never seemed to click in white people's heads, And so, I'm not going to... I'm not going to justify that. I'm not. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's several women out there who have, blonde hair. I've seen some people with red hair, and that it's not their hair. It's not their color, but, I'm not sitting here digging around trying to figure it out. It's personal, you know what I mean? And, it's for grooming purposes only. I can assure you that, I was assuming my former boss from Chatsworth was assuming that I was on the prowl. I don't think so, okay? I mean, I have a job to do, and I need to have, my hair in order, okay? Because if it's not, it's going to look crazy, okay? And I don't need to have, a bunch of clips running around, sticking in my head and all this other crap, just so I can maintain my hair. I have to be orderly. And for people to point this sort of stuff out, it is a form of discrimination, whether it be racial or sexual harassment. It is a form of harassment, period. And, try to think about how that person feels. I mean, do they feel comfortable getting all this attention? You yourself might be one of those people who like attention, but I don't like that kind of attention. I don't, okay? I expect to just come into a place and do my job, period, okay? And I can assure you that if I was on the prowl, I would not ever wear something like that, okay? I remember when I was younger, not that I've ever been the kind of person that's on the prowl, but when I was younger, I remember going to this makeup counter many years ago with my friend and her mom, and we were looking at makeup at the counter. And everyone knows on the left side of my face I have vitiligo, okay? It's a discoloration, a slight discoloration on the side of my face, and it's the shape of a pipe and a puff, okay? And of course, my siblings always made fun of me about it when I was a kid. And it's getting hot in here. Anyway, so I was looking at the lipsticks or whatever, and my friend was looking at foundation and whatever. And so the lady was asking me. She said, "Well, don't you want something to cover up that big mark on your face?" I said, "No, I don't want anything to cover that mark on my face." I said, whoever I'm going to be with is going to see that mark on my face eventually. So I don't want them to, I just might as well let it show. And I do. I let it show. I mean, when I was younger, being out in the sun, yes, black people can get darker. When I was younger, being out in the sun, my skin would get darker. And that one particular patch on my face doesn't ever get any sort of it's not sensitive to the sun. So that way, it pretty much stays the same color. It always will stay the same color. It's never going to change. And so it would be a huge contrast. You could easily see that there was this big puff and pipe on my face. But see, the thing is that, I believe that if I was truly interested in somebody, I would rather them see me with the puff and the pipe and, them seeing me with my natural hair out. You know what I mean? Not exactly, like when I first roll out of bed, mind you, but you know what I mean. It's groomed enough, but not quite that way. So my hair is strictly for work purposes, okay? It's for that, period. Okay? It has nothing to do with this or that. I would prefer people, friends, and, a certain person, to be around me with my hair the way that it is, So, anyway, try to, let people understand that that's not, I'm not like that, okay? So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, and, I'm encouraging families to just try to keep their mouths shut about certain things. Keep it in the household, okay? If you really care, and if you really care, you talk to this person directly, okay? Instead of going in and doing all this kind of bullshit behind the scenes, because this is what creates problems, okay? And really, I mean, sure, I would say my family's at fault and all these other people are at fault too, but ultimately, the responsibility lays on the employer, because the employer should have known. These issues have nothing to do with employment, period. And so, I'm hoping that, employers will start paying attention, because like I said, there's a lot of targeted individuals, okay? There's a lot of people out there who are getting abused right under your nose, okay? And some of you guys are participating in it, in some sort of abuse, and you're not even aware of it. But I think some people are aware of it, because obviously if you're bothering people, you're nudging people, you're constantly badgering people, you're being a part of it, okay? But for some people who may not be aware, well, then now you are, okay? You need to understand that there are domestic docket issues that relate to federal and state law, as well as ones that are specifically for employment reasons, okay? And I've stated those laws and the codes and all that other BS in one of my videos, So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I'm going to kick back a little bit, maybe have another snack before I head to bed. And I will be back with another one later. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.